Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Community Impact Plan information session. My name is Tahira Cook. I am a program specialist with the Social and Economic Equity team, and we will be talking everything Community Impact Plan this afternoon. I will start off with a PowerPoint presentation where I will discuss a little bit more granularly about the details and the requirements that you will see for your community impact plan submissions within your adult use renewal applications. And following that, we'll get a little bit more real world on the ground implementation with some of our licensees who have joined us this afternoon, both Paul and Andre, who are licensees who have already started on some of their community impact plan activities. So really want to give folks the real world on the ground experiences as licensees of what you can experience when you are looking to engage with community and do some of your community impact plan activities. So without further ado, once again, thank you for joining us. I am going to jump into my PowerPoint presentation. So as I mentioned before, we're talking everything community impact plan today. My name is Tahira Cook. I'm a program specialist with our social and economic equity team. So, to just get us started and ground us in why we are here today and why of our discussions, and honestly, to even respond to some of the questions that we received, folks were a little bit unclear about where the community impact plan actually comes from and why. So, according to two sets of our regulations, sections 121.4, which really deal with licensees' commitment to social and economic equity, as well as sections 120.11, which really speaks to requirements as it deals with the submission of your community impact plan in your adult use renewal application. So I just put these two sets of regulations up on the screen so that we all know and can all conclude that all licensees are required to submit a community impact plan, and this includes our card licensees. The session that I'm covering today will only cover the community impact plan portion of your adult use renewal application. If there are questions that come in related to the renewal application that I can address outside of community impact plan, I will. But for questions that I can't unfortunately address, and if there are other questions related to your adult use renewal application, you can go on AU licensing at ocm.ny.gov, shoot your questions and email there for questions related to your overall renewal application. So, to get us started, what is included in a community impact plan? A lot of us are familiar with this first kind of statement on the screen that a community impact plan will show a licensee's plan for how they will benefit communities and individuals from communities that were disproportionately impacted by the enforcement of cannabis prohibition. That is a loaded statement. And we understand that for some folks, it has created forms of confusion in terms of where their community impact should actually be taking place, who they should be engaging with, and who they should be working with. So, to clarify this statement, and specifically for this round of community impact submissions, the office will be accepting community impact plans that are justified by any form of regional and community need. That means a whole slew of services and activities will be accepted this time around. But most importantly, we are really looking for you to address an issue or need within the region that your business operates. So for folks who did submit that question of, what do I do if I operate in a community that's not impacted by the war of drugs? Just because your business may not operate in a designated community, right? So they may not be on that CDI map, doesn't mean that there aren't community needs where your business is located at. And we would like you to focus your community impact plan around those. If you are looking to work and partner with other neighborhoods or communities within your region that are designated disproportionately community impacted, that is fine as well. But just wanting folks to know on this call that the office remains, open and flexible to the community activities that you submit to us, as long as you can show us that there is a need for the services that you are providing. Moving on, what else is included within your community impact plan? The office has taken kind of the liberty to outline some questions within the adult use renewal application to assist licensees with their submission on their community impact plans. And these questions are kind of coupled into multiple buckets. So, number one, we want to know what problem or need you're looking to address with your community impact plan, what type of research and partnerships you have done to actually understand what the need is within your community, what type of goals and planned activities will happen with your community impact plan, your timeline and budget, and then finally, evaluation. It is important to note that this plan is actually future focused. We've also received, tons of comments and questions regarding, am I behind on implementing my community impact plan? Is it too late for me to start on something? The plan that you submit to us via your renewal application, you have about 2 years to actually implement. So, for example, if you submit your adult use renewal application and it is accepted this year in 2026, you have about 2 years to 2028, or the end of your this renewal period, to actually get some activity done and implemented related to your community impact plan. At the end of this renewal period is when you will provide to us, this is what I did. These are the steps I actually took to execute my community impact plan, as well as, any type of data or metrics that you have collected. This plan, once again, is future, so it's really what you intend to do. The office is open to changes. Some of the elements of your plan may change as you look to carry out some of these activities. So, for example, you may have said, I'm seeking or looking to spend a certain budget that was adjusted and changed once I actually began to get into implementing my plan. You may have a partner that you listed that changed, or maybe you're looking to do some activities on a monthly basis and you were only actually able to do them quarterly. That is okay. At the end of the day, you're really submitting what you actually completed to us at the end of the renewal period. Right now, we are really seeking just what you intend to do and what your goals are for the duration of the next 2 years. So, getting into one of our buckets, which is problem and need, right? What is the problem or need that you are seeking to address within your region, within your community? And where can we find, right, for those folks who are looking and, don't have anywhere to start? For some folks, it will be really easy because you may actually be from the community or area in which you're operating. So, my individual experience, I understand some of the needs of my community. I've lived here, I understand that. You may form a partnership with the community-based organization or nonprofit that can help you understand some of those needs. When you are looking to establish your business, you typically are partnering with the local municipality. You're talking to folks in your community, whether it be at a community board or etc. So town halls and community conversations are also a good place to understand what's actually needed within your community. Doing some online searches related to community surveys, articles, and press is also a good way to understand some of the work and some of the needs in the communities in which you're operating. In particular, the holidays have just passed. There should be and have been a lot of articles highlighting a lot of the good work that community organizations and leaders have been doing around the holiday time. Those are also good leads and good places to start. Related to your problem and need, we really want to know who you're looking to serve, right? What are the characteristics of your target population that you are looking to help? So, for example, when we think about that, you may want to help specifically seniors in your community. You may want to take a look at those who are young folks in your community. Maybe you're looking at folks who are justice involved, or you want to do a project or partner with some of the veteran service organizations in your community. Maybe you work with a woman-owned business, kind of collaboration within your neighborhood, or you're specifically looking to service and support individuals from a community disproportionately impacted. Your problem and needs statement will help us understand as an office what you are looking to do. I left some examples there on the screen. So, for example, you may get an understanding that within the community that you're operating, justice involved individuals need better access to mental health resources. So that's what you're looking to assist and work on. You may want to work with young aged adults who need assistance with financial literacy. You may find that rising food costs have contributed to things and the need for food assistance in your neighborhood. So these are all different ways that you can kind of formulate your needs system, your needs statement. The I want to emphasize that the office is not asking you to solve it all with your community impact plan, right? We understand that the more expansive your community plan is, the harder it will be to implement. So it's important to keep your problem and need statement clear and simple so that we can understand what you're seeking to do as an office, as well as understanding that you all are also operating and running businesses. So the problem that you are seeking to solve shouldn't be 10 issues at once. It should be something that's focused and targeted, making it easy for you to implement, form partnerships, and do what needs to be done to satisfy this requirement. But the goal is not to see that you submit to us 10 different issues in your community. We are really looking for you to submit one targeted issue that you are looking to work on for the next 2 years or so. And concluding with our problem and need, of course, we need to know as an office where you're working. So what region are you based and looking to do this work in, and what are those zip codes? And as I mentioned before, licensees should be focusing their community impact efforts on the same region where their business operates. So if you are someone who is based in Buffalo, your community impact plan should not be based on Long Island, for example, right? The closer you are to the impact that you are seeking to make, the more sustainable it is, and the more easier it is for you to actually touch some of the work and form those partnerships and relationships that need to be done. Um, we also want to know you're quantifying how many folks that you're looking to actually work with. And I want to emphasize this as well. All of these components that I am talking about related to the impact plan today are all going to be asked in your adult use renewal application. You do not have to remember every single component related to problem and need. These are questions that you will just simply respond to in the application. But what I am giving you today is just tips and where to start if you have no clue in terms of how you want to answer some of these questions. But these questions are available to you in the application. We also have a sample application if you want to begin to form some of your responses, available on our website as well. Research and partnerships are another component of the community impact plan. Research and local partnerships are used to further your understanding of the community need and strengthen your impact. Some examples are here on the screen. So as I've mentioned before, you may want to partner and work with a community-based organization. You may want to work with the city in which you're operating. You may want to form a partnership with the shelter or workforce program, some reentry programs, mutual aid groups. But Working with a partner who has been doing this work and has long-standing community ties will assist you in not having to reinvent the wheels. These partners have been doing community impact work for a long time, and leaning on them will make your process a little bit more seamless. Partnerships and partners can assist with providing things like opportunities to engage, ideas of where you should start, additional relationships needed, whether you need additional capacity or support to actually get, your idea implemented. Maybe you're just relying on a partner or a partnership for access to space so that you can host a certain session or whatever it is. But partners really can assist with executing your community impact plan and are strongly encouraged by the office. Um, the renewal application itself will ask for if you have partners and the nature of your partnership with them. This is an open-ended response, understanding that some folks will have, maybe more formal, long-standing partnership agreements with people and saying like, hey, I plan to partner with this community-based organization for the next 2 years. Some people won't be that substantive, where it will just be, hey, I'm supporting one of these organizations with an event that's coming up, or I'm just providing a donation or a sponsorship. The office is flexible and will accept all answers related to that, but I just want to give a heads up that there are questions related to the type of research and partnerships that you have formed in your renewal application. Activities. So, what type of activities will you actually be implementing to address this need that you described? There are a list of activities provided here on the screen. I want to say not limited to. Don't think that everything that you do has to fall within these buckets. It really depends on what's relevant to the community need that you describe. But some of these activities include things like assisting folks with job skills, maybe providing adult education, cannabis education, women's health services. Maybe you're assisting folks who are justice impacted. Um, Within your community impact plan, you will have to provide to us what type of activities you plan to implement, when you will implement them, and they'll definitely be within this renewal period. So, as I mentioned, if your renewal application is due today, you will submit to us when you anticipate to implement activities from January 2026 to March or so 2028, as well as how often. So if you plan to do a workshop or an activity on a monthly basis, if you plan to do it on a quarterly basis, it is totally up to you. It is totally up to depending on how much capacity, time, availability, your business structure that you have to dedicate to these activities. But we need to know your plan and what your intentions are. As I mentioned before, if things change, that is also okay as well. You can let us know what you actually accomplished and achieved at the end of the renewal period. Your goals. The office wants to know what are at least 3 goals that you are hoping to achieve in your community impact plan, and these goals must be measurable. They don't have to be expansive, they don't have to be extremely complicated, but they need to be something that you should be able to quantify at the end of the renewal period. So, for example, you may want to provide some reentry support services, workshops. Maybe your goal is to get 30 people to attend, right? That's easy. You can take attendance on that and you can see whether you achieve that goal or not. You may want to support and volunteer at the local food pantry for 10 days or have 10 volunteer days throughout the renewal period. You may want to create a mentorship network where you're impacting 25 folks, or you may want to provide some cannabis education workshops for your community. But the purpose here is to just really know that your goals must be measurable. You should be able to go back to and count how many folks have attended, count how many activities you've actually done, quantify how much money or time or supplies that you have invested in your community activity. Your budget. What do you anticipate to spend over this 2-year time period? Budget areas include, but not limited to, if you're planning on supporting your staff and doing some community activity, maybe you're covering some of your personnel wages, maybe there's contractual services that you're working on, maybe you're supporting, folks in the community getting to a location to, receive certain services through travel. These are just ideas around a budget area. You don't have to have a budget number for all of these categories. We're thinking things like donations and sponsorships are also an easy way to just quantify how much you anticipate on spending within your partnerships, or how much you anticipate to spend on activities. So once again, this is just an idea. And this is over the 2-year period. We did receive a question around, whether the office, these numbers that submitted have to be like hard line. This is exactly what we did. Like I said, this plan is your intention, what you intend to do for the community. If you need to make updates to your budget, you will show that to us at the end. But for right now, we want to know what you're thinking as you formulate your plan. And finally, the final component related to your community impact plan is evaluation. And so, how will you measure whether you were kind of successful, with the plan that you submitted? And that will include both qualitative and quantitative metrics within your renewal application. You will let us know some qualitative data that you are seeking to collect. So, qualitative really speaks to how you made someone feel. What was the participants experience in engaging with you, or the organization's experience in engaging with you? And a lot of that can be captured through a survey, through testimonial. Maybe you get some interviews from different folks that you have partnered with, to kind of let you know whether your impact plan, was suffice or did a good job or serviced those in your community. And then finally, your quantitative data is really those numerical hard numbers. As we mentioned before, that would be things like how many people actually showed up, how many people you reached out to, how much funds did you raise or did you donate. So these are also components found within your adult use renewal application that you will respond to. Feel free to use some of these examples on the screen if they pertain to the community need that you submit. But shouldn't be very difficult when you're thinking through what type of data you're going to collect or what type of metrics. Definitely lean on resources like internet searches and things of that nature that can, we're not asking for a long-term longitudinal study, but really just quick of like, hey, I actually took a look at some of the work that I done and listened to the community and show and heard from them that some impact was made, and maybe there's adjustments that I need to make for the next time, or just that their input was actually valued in what I did. And just a quick note on what is not considered community impact. So, these are things we really look at community impact as benefits outside of your business, to the public, to the community, to the region in which you're operating in, right? So, what you can't quantify or submit as community impact would be sales to your customers, anything related to a promotional event that is used to drive sales, if you're forming a relationship or partnership around marketing, vendor hires that support your business operations, right? Or any activity where the licensee or licensee's business receives the primary benefit, right? We are really looking for your activities here to benefit the target population in which you have identified, and really looking to service a community need. And we received some questions around how the OCM will actually review community impact plans after they're submitted. So once a renewal application is submitted, the OCM will just check to make sure that the community impact plan makes sense and that it is complete. If there are gaps within the community impact plan, if we are concerned, or maybe, someone just swiped through the full application and just, really didn't complete or answer any of the questions, we will reach out to you and contact you if there are questions or corrections needed related to your community impact plan. Like I said, you're submitting to us your intentions, what you intend to do over the next 2 years. At the end of the renewal period, we will follow up with you, in which you will provide what you actually completed and what was actually done. And that will be a requirement when you enter into your second renewal period. And so where are we going with some of this? And as I mentioned before, the office remains flexible in some of the ideas, activities, relationships and partnerships that you all form, because we acknowledge that this is our first time actually collecting community impact plans. And as we continue to analyze this process over the next 2 years, we will continue to have conversations externally with communities and municipalities to further understand what the needs are, and continue to develop and share community engagement resources for you all as you continue to do this work as well. So we see this as a dialogue, an ongoing conversation, and continued work that we will continue to refine here at the office. Sorry, skip the slide. And so just for the purposes of this presentation, we actually have a simple kind of community impact plan example and case study that was provided to us from Hold Up Roll Up, who is a dispensary based in Albany. They sought out a need within their community around seasonal food distribution. So they did a Thanksgiving-based activity where they understood that there were those who were food insecure in the Albany region, and therefore hosted some food distribution outside of their dispensary. The event was open to the public. Staff worked to both the business and staff worked to organize donations, as well as customers provided donations. And there was a 3-hour kind of structured distribution window. And some of the things that these folks captured from the event is that they were able to distribute 100 plus turkeys. Non-perishable goods were redistributed, and there was some direct community engagement. So I'm just sharing this example here on the screen as a nod to some of the activities that licensees are already beginning to implement within their communities, understanding some of the community need, and kind of taking charge to do some of that. So that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions related to your community impact plan that I can't get to today, or that our panel doesn't get to, please send an email to c@ocm.ny.gov if you have any confusion about where to start, about any of the requirements, about any of the questions that you find within the community impact plan portion of the adult use renewal application. We are happy to assist. So I am going to now bring our panelists to the front and jump to our panel conversation. Hi, Paul. Hi, Andre.
Hello.
Guys.
Hi. All right, so we'll kick it off with our first question, just so folks can get to know you all a little bit. Where are you based? What is your role within your organization or within your business? And how long have you all been operating? Paul, we'll start with you.
Sure. I'm Paul Lepore. I'm the president of Happy Days Dispensary out here in Farmingdale, Long Island. We opened January 2nd, 2024, so we have a little bit of time under our belt already. We already submitted for the renewal, so I'm sure a lot of these questions are going to be stemming from that, and we're approved for it, and got right to work when we opened and trying to get back to our community as philanthropic initiatives are really nothing new to me. I feel like we should all do our part to make the world a better place. And yeah, it's a great opportunity to really do that and work with local municipalities and even with the OCM to try to make as much of a positive impact as we can.
Thank you, Paul. Andre, I'll kick it over to you.
Okay, hi guys. I'm Andre Clark. I'm the general manager at Twisted Vibration. We are located in South Williamsburg, Brooklyn, New York, and it's just a pleasure being here. We've done so many different stuff for the community, and one of the thing is getting a location is not as easy as you might think, and we're not from that neighborhood, so we didn't want to just open up and just expect people to come to us. So we decided to do like a food drive, and it's been really cold, and we had a clothes drive, and that went really well every week. We also, well, we used to do it every week. I don't want to be a liar now, but we were doing the weekly cleanup at the parks, and it was a good response. So I'm grateful for that.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you, Andre. And how long have you been operating in South Williamsburg?
So we've been open October 3rd, 2024, I believe. Yep, 2024. So, we have some time under our belts as well.
Awesome, awesome. All right, we'll kick it to our next question. And Andre, I'll let you actually start because you already leaned into a little bit of this. Um,
Right.
what type of community activities have you all been leading or supporting?
Okay. So we definitely, I'll say the most impactful to me would be the weekly cleanup that we were doing. The parks were New York City. Not as clean as Long Island, but the people in the neighborhood sometimes litter, and we decide to get a group of guys together and go by the parks every week. And there's also a lot of homelessness going on, and sometimes we even see the guys rummage through the garbage, which is like not a pretty sight to see. So the food drive is something that we definitely would like to do more of.
Mhm, mhm. Thank you, thank you. And Paul, I'll kick it to you.
Yeah, so we've done a lot over the past couple of years, and food insecurity is a huge issue, no matter where you are in New York or in the country or in the world for that matter. So we've worked with an organization called Long Island Cares, donating food to make sure that it gets into the hands of families in need. We've worked with the Carol M. Baldwin Breast Cancer Research Fund, as some of the Grumman plumes are out here on Long Island, and breast cancer is a huge issue, and cancer in general here out on Long Island. So wanted to really take care of that. We've worked with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which focuses on mental health, which is a huge crisis. It's something near and dear to my heart as well. Strong Enough Achievers Foundation, who focuses on youth programs. We did with them as well. We orchestrated some fresh produce giveaways across Amityville and Wyandanch and CID communities across Long Island. Project Nine Line, which focuses on mental health with veterans. We've also, not directly in the community, but we provided over 100 children in need with heart surgery. That may not have been here, and I know that that's not exactly in the community, but you never know what these children will do later on in life, right? So giving that gift of life, and something that's near and dear to my heart, is at-risk youth. So for the past 2 years, I've dressed up like Santa and went and gave out toys to children. Right? Obviously, they don't know that it came from a dispensary. We're not sponsoring a youth baseball team that's wearing Happy Days dispensary across the front of their jerseys. You can have to do that.
Yeah.
It's a hard stop. You can't go there, but just doing what we can in getting these toys and dressing up as Santa and going to get them into the hands of these kids who would otherwise think that everybody just forgot about them. I mean, that's something that may change them for the rest of their lives. So every little thing like that we can do, we jump all over. And even down to pets, we worked with the town of Babylon, who's our local municipality, and did a donation and a drive for their animal shelter.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Nice,
So
nice.
as much as we can do, it's not really very all over the place, but we are trying to do as much as we can, as I always say, to make sure that it's not like Mad Max times by the time that my two little girls grow up,
Yeah.
making the world a better and a happier place.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that, Paul. And I think you've kind of led into this is perfect because you're both leading into our next question. Can we get that on the screen? Um, Paul, you talk a lot about these partnerships that you formed. How did you find yourself able to actually get started on some of these? Outside of just, knowing that these are some of the needs, did people approach you? Did you approach them? Could you give us some insight into that?
Well, it started off with us approaching everybody. Nobody wanted to go anywhere near us or ask for anything. Now,
Right.
thankfully, after we've done so much, there are people that reach out, and we want to help everybody, and we do the best that we can. But just as a little story at the beginning, we wanted to donate to a local charity that focuses on addiction and helping these individuals with addiction and getting them back into the workforce, right? And we went to go donate money to them and work with them, and they denied us.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, we don't want to take your money. You're a dispensary, right? They take the tax money from the town that we generate and pay to the state, right? But neither here nor there. We also ran into something like that with Tunnel to Towers. I understand it. They have federal funding. Cannabis is still federally illegal. So I guess the point I'm trying to get at is you may initially experience some roadblocks, but if you reach out to local food banks, local homeless shelters, local community impact organizations and community outreach organizations, youth programs, again, they don't need to know that it came from a dispensary. It's what you're doing to actually make that positive impact. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely. And Andre, can you speak a little bit to it? I know you said that, your location really not being where you all are from, you began to look around at some of the community needs, and that's how you all kind of got engaged. Can you talk a little bit about how you all got started?
So like I said, it's kind of sad when you see people searching for food through garbages, and it's like I've seen it before, but up close, it's just like we definitely have to do something. And like even in temperatures like today, they are out there with like no clothes. They're not dressed properly. So like the coat drive, and we just wanted to say thankful to Out the Closet thrift store. They're great, and just appreciate everyone who worked with us, and our staff. Our staff put this together. Thank you, thank you. They're on the call listening right now, so I had to give them a shout out.
Definitely. We definitely appreciate all the staff and folks who, take the time out of their busy days to just literally operate and run a business, and a new and beginning business at that, to really, have some input and impact within the community. So definitely that shout out is well deserving. We'll go to our next question. And Paul, you've leaned a little bit on this already, and Andre, you just talked a little bit about your partnership with the local thrift store. Who are you partnering with, and how have these partnerships kind of helped you along the way? And so we have some folks who we are open to as an office who have, kind of said, you know what, I'm going to take the charge. I'm going to take the lead and run an initiative within my office, but or within my business and within my community. But I want to emphasize the importance of partnerships and kind of understanding what the needs are, and how they can be kind of a vital resource to this community impact work that we do. So does anyone kind of want to speak a little bit about how community impact partnerships have gotten you over the hump to begin to achieve some things?
Well, I mean, Andre, you want to start? You want me to start? It's up to you.
You go ahead, Paul. You got it, Paul.
All right. Look, I mean, when you look at philanthropic initiatives and giving back to the community, those partnerships are huge. The bond that's formed is really lasts for a long time, and just seeing how many people you're helping and the impact that it makes. I mean, forget about everything else. I mean, it's just warming to the soul, right? I'm a big believer in karma. right? Surrounding yourself with the right people, doing the right thing, and you mostly have an amazing life. And an example is last year, I was trying to hand out toys to children, and a few local hospitals said, no, we're not some random guy who dressed up as Santa going to give toys to kids, And turns out that one of the local hospitals that had a security was actually one of our customers. So he said, no, of course you can come in. So I handed out toys there, and he called me back this early in December and said, look, I have we do a lot of work with a local daycare where there's no parents, the kids are in foster homes, or they've recently lost one parent, and we'd love for you to come in. Look, you are a great Santa. We'd love for you to come in and hand out toys to more children. And, it's just that it continues and it perpetuates. And, one of the questions that's written along here is how does this help you along the way? Well, I tell people all the time, we're not doing this for anything in return, but the best form of advertising is word of mouth. Right. So people knowing that you're doing these things, people talking about the things that you're doing in the community. I mean, it's the best form of marketing that you could ever ask for. And it's not the intent, but it kind of comes along with some of the good that we do when we're out there doing these things. So, it's rewarding in more ways than one.
Definitely. Andre, do you want to speak to a little bit more about the partnerships and some that you have all formed at Twisted Vibration?
No, of course. I mean, like Paul said, I mean, it's really a partnership, and it's beneficial to both parties. And being in a neighborhood that you're not from, and some of these businesses have been there before us, so it just makes a lot of sense. And they've just been real supportive as well and welcoming. So it's great.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this moves us to our last question. Yep. Any advice or tips that you think would be helpful for other licensees, related to community engagement? I really want to hone in a little bit on what you mentioned, Paul, regarding, getting started out and maybe some folks not being willing to partner with you or not understanding your intention as to why you're approaching community impact in this way, and really want to hone in the importance of, kind of keeping it going, keeping it moving, letting folks know that you are available to offer support, and maybe a partnership that you're looking to form or that you really want to work with right now is not possible, but maybe a few years down the line, as your business becomes more established, as you become a more a reliable institution within a neighborhood, people then tend to work with you a bit more.
Well, I mean, to your point, cannabis is new to a lot of people in New York, right? And they've gone through years and years of being educated incorrectly on what cannabis is, and it's our job, and I'm sure all of us see it on a daily basis. I know we definitely do, and really helping to break some of that stigmatism that still exists around cannabis through educating about the good, the bad, and the ugly, right, and everything in between. So we had people that we reached out to originally that didn't want to have anything to do with us, and now they're reaching back out, 2 years later, to your point. So it's, don't give up, don't get disheartened. I think starting with local food banks, looking for nothing, and your local municipality as well, reaching out to those youth centers and community outreach centers and shelters is really going to be your best bet to get started. And people will pay attention to that, right? And they will eventually come reaching out, and it will snowball, and you will get to the point where it becomes much easier. But we're all on this journey together, trying to do the work in our own communities in making this a little more normalized, right? I always go back to saying that the first person to open a liquor store after Prohibition was considered a heathen, right? Some verbiage from back in the day. So and where apparently I had one of my kids, the father said, "Oh, he's a drug dealer." Because I opened up a dispensary. Now I'm a drug dealer. But you can polish off a bottle of wine and a bottle of vodka every night, right? So, look, it's be resilient, right? Don't give up. Keep focused on what your passions are, where you think your efforts are needed, and something that's going to be rewarding to you as an individual. Some causes that are important to you. Really focus on that. It'll make it substantially easier in the long run as well.
I agree
Definitely.
100%. Agree.
Definitely. Go ahead, Andre.
No, I agree 100%. With this industry, it's a lot of taboo, right? And some people aren't willing to help you until they see your intentions and what you're about. And I mean, I guess it's the same over here as well. And you just gotta do what you feel is right, what you think the community needs, and it'll energy attracts. So
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to just put a quick plug into when I was running through my slides, I just remembered that I didn't cover this. But the office has also released their first kind of set of reinvestment fund funding this past year. If you take a look, and I don't know if we can put that link on the screen, I'm talking to our team. If you take a look within our award booklet, you can see different ideas and different things for community impact that the office has also supported that are organizations from regions all across the state. So if you are concerned about your specific area and where you can find things, there are some ideas within that booklet that we have funded and supported as well. And I'm sure we'll be sending out this PowerPoint, so folks will be able to access that link there also. So I just want to say a really big thank you to our panel for taking the time to address some of these concerns. And I'm hoping that folks will feel a little bit more from the licensee perspective, how they can get started and some of the things that they can do. I'm going to open us up now to some questions, and we'll go from there. Okay. First question. We are a distributor. We have a warehouse location. However, we technically do business all over the state. Are we limited to only the county or township where our warehouse is located? Okay, this is a really interesting question. We really are hoping that folks will sought out to do their community impact work within the region that they're located. So, for example, if you are based in, I'm just throwing anything out there, the capital region, you're looking to do work in Albany, Troy, those type of areas. If you are based on Long Island, you're looking to do work on Long Island. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the same county or township, but just within regionally your New York State region, which you also respond to within the application. So if you're based in New York City, you're not limited to only doing work in Queens. If there's a project you really want to work on in the Bronx, that's available as well. Next question. Products and educating ways of consumption count. Yes, definitely. And if this is, if you're forming a partnership with a nursing home and you are providing cannabis education, and you can decide at what pace and what frequency you would like to provide this education, but this is definitely an aspect that counts, as long as the public is or folks at the nursing home are not charged to receive this information. 100%. Yep, that can count. How do we find out when our renewal is due? This is a great question. So after licensure, you are typically you will have to submit your renewal application 2 years post. The office will actually contact you 120 days. So what is that? About 4 months before your adult use renewal application is due, so that you can begin to gather your materials and take a look at what's required in your application. But if you are someone who was just recently licensed, you won't have to submit your adult use renewal application until around 2 years. But the office will contact you. Our licensing unit will let you know, like, hey, your application is due in 120 days, and provide you with guidance related to that. Are there preferred type of community partners, whether that be a nonprofit, youth program, that the OCM views as especially aligned with community impact plan? Nope, we are flexible. We are encouraging these partnerships. If there are some that are easier to work with than others for you, then go for it. But we don't have a specific type of partner that we are asking you to work with. Partners that speak to you, or some of the concerns that you may have or that you witness within the community, things that you're passionate about, as well as partners who make themselves available to connect with you. That's okay with us. If a dispensary has already submitted their renewal a couple weeks ago prior to OCM sending out community impact plan guidance on 120, what are they to do? Yes, this is a great question. Understanding that the renewal application has been available for some time, and it has taken some time for the office to kind of put these resources out and available. If we had any concern about your community impact plan or what you submitted, we will reach out to you for corrections. If we don't, we're accepting your renewal plan as is for right now, and whatever updates you need to make, you can let us know when it's time for at the next renewal period. Can I partner with another licensee on my community impact plan? This is a great question. Yes, you definitely can. If you are seeking, to work with someone in your region or another licensee in your region, and are looking to, achieve similar goals, so you all, choose to partner on a community impact plan, that is perfectly fine. However, it is still required that you both individually submit the community impact plan on your adult use renewal application. You can mention who you're working with in your application, but you still have to submit the impact plan. But yep, that partnerships between two licensees are definitely allowed. Does the CI community impact plan need to contain hard numbers? Oh, yep. So hard numbers for the budget and when it comes to how many different community events we participate. So I addressed some of this in the presentation. This is your intentions, what you intend to do. If you need to make updates to the budget, if you need to make updates to how many community events you attended and participated in, that is okay. Any other questions? I know we got folks filtering through on the back end. Okay, if not, we will conclude today's session. This will be an ongoing kind of series. The office is looking to have these community impact plan conversations with other licensees. So today we featured Paul and Andre. Our next session will be featuring some other licensees from, across the state. So thank you so much, Paul and Andre, for taking the time to share a bit of your experience and your community engagement activities. And we'll continue to provide these resources for folks. If questions come up, please email c@ocm.ny.gov for anything related to your community impact plan, anything related to your adult use renewal application. You're going to email aulicensing@ocm.ny.gov. If you email either or, we'll filter it to the proper channels if you're confused about that. But thank you so much for your time today and listening and understanding a bit more how we can work on community impact.